Hello and welcome to Another Home Sold, a show about Wellesley real estate, where you hear from the experts on the things you need to know about buying a new home, maintaining your property, or when you're preparing to sell. I'm your host and realtor, Steven.Verdelli, with Coldwell-Banker, Wellesley's #1 real estate company for 24 years in a row. Today, we have Deputy Chief Charles DiGiandomenico with us from the Wellesley Fire Department. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. First of all, tell me a little bit about becoming a firefighter and what is exactly involved in that process.
Well, we have our own test in Wellesley. We used to have civil service exam where you just sign up, take an exam, and they put you on a list by how high you score. And then you get picked that way. If you score high enough and you're up the top 3, chief can pick you for a job. It's pretty much, there's really no training needed to get into the fire right now.
But the training starts after.
Training starts after you get hired. You go to the academy, hopefully that they got slots. It's very tough to get a slot in the academy now. So once you get, if you get lucky enough to get hired, you get picked to go to the academy. And you go there for, I want to say 11 weeks.
And where's the academy?
There's one out in Stowe, Mass.
And that's all Massachusetts firefighters attend this academy.
Massachusetts. Boston has their own. Boston, anybody who gets hired from Boston, sometimes Brookline, you can go to their academy. And I want to say they just opened one up in Springfield also for the Western states, Western communities.
And once you graduate from this academy, you have continuing education classes, I'm sure.
No, not necessarily. We do training to keep up our skills through the academy. We do confined space rescue, thing called RIT training rescue, saving another firefighter in burning buildings and stuff. So we do ongoing training to keep our skills up.
Interesting. So there are 2 stations in Wellesley. The one that we all know about on Route 9,
Yep.
And then there's a secondary one.
Yes, there's one on Central Street right across from Brugger's Bagels.
Okay.
And that's our engine 1 is housed up there. And there's 3 guys, a lieutenant and 2 firefighters.
But both fire stations are responding to fires.
Yep. Engine 1 takes pretty much half the town, and our main engine 2 takes the other half.
Okay.
And then our other 2 engines follow to all the fire calls with those.
So how many fires did Wellesley Fire Department respond to in 2014?
We responded to 51 total fire calls.
51 fire calls in 2014, almost one a week.
Almost, yeah.
And out of those, how many of those do you think could have been prevented?
Well, I know of about 3 of them off the top of my head because they were fires caused by careless disposal of fireplace ashes. A couple of the residents weren't clear of that the coals are still hot even though they may not look it. So they scoop them up and they put them out in the trash and they leave them out in the garage. And
big problem.
A couple times it started a fire, which we were there early detection helped in getting us there so we can extinguish it quickly. So there was minimal damage.
So cold to the touch ashes don't necessarily mean that you can put them in a brown paper bag and put them on your wooden back steps.
No.
So these should really be put into some type of metal container.
Metal container, filled with water.
Okay.
To make sure that they're totally out.
Yep. And put away from the house.
Yep.
Let's talk a little bit about fire inspections. That is one of your major roles as a deputy chief. In Massachusetts and in Wellesley, you have to have a certificate before any house can be sold. Before you go to closing, you have to have a certificate that says this house indeed was inspected and is approved. I want to talk a little bit about that and the timing with that.
Yeah, it's mass state law. It's not just Wellesley. It's throughout the state. It's mass state law. Fire code is Chapter 148, and what this comes under is Section 26F and 26F and a half. They these two laws state that when a house changes hands, ownership, and you should even do it when you change hands of renters, you got to make sure that you leave the new occupants with working smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors, and they're in the right place and they're in good working order.
Okay, so whether you're selling a house that's going to be torn down, anything, there's transfer of ownership, they need to have this inspection certificate.
Yep, even if the house is going to be torn down tomorrow and you need the inspection today, you got to have working smoke detectors in the right places and the right kinds, because there could be something happen through the transition that they'd have to wait and not tear it down right away. They might rent it out. In those instances, that's where you need the smoke detectors. That way you're covered.
So once you receive this certificate, how long is this good for?
It's good for 60 days.
Okay, so a certificate is good for 60 days, proves that you've come through, you've tested, the smoke detectors are in the proper places, and that is needed in order to do a closing.
Yep.
So if you're looking to sell your house, as soon as this house goes under agreement, you should really set up an appointment. Your agent should set up an appointment to have this inspection completed. And failure to do so, and you're closing the next day, does not necessarily constitute an emergency on the fire department's side to get this done. This is something that your agent should be on top of. Let's talk a little bit about the different types of detectors. We have some with us today. These are courtesy of Ace Hardware on Linden Street, which was nice enough to help us out today. If you want to tell us a little bit about different types of detectors that you needed, where they're needed, and why they're needed.
Okay, pretty much battery-operated smoke detectors are good for houses that were built pre-1975.
Pre-1975.
Yep, that's where it comes under where you can have battery-operated smoke detectors, battery-operated carbon monoxide detectors.
So pre-1975, you're okay with battery-operated smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors.
Yep.
But you have to have them even in a home pre-1975 in order to get the certificate.
Yep. So the most common ones here are common questions asked are photoelectric compared to ionization. These ones right here are photoelectric smoke detectors. They are to be installed within 20 feet of a kitchen or a bathroom. The reason for that is they're supposed to limit nuisance alarms by steam from showers and smoke from cooking. Usually people cooking something all the time, they're setting off the smoke detectors.
Yeah, I've never done that.
I haven't. But that's why they say that put the photoelectrics smoke detectors within 20 feet of a kitchen or a bath. And anything outside of 20 feet of a kitchen or a bath, let's say, you got a set of staircase, base of stairs on the opposite end of the house. Outside 20 feet, you need a photoelectric and ionization smoke detector.
Okay.
So that's what that is. That's a photoelectric and ionization detector.
So this is photoelectric ionization, which is okay outside of the kitchen and bathroom.
20 feet.
20 feet.
Outside 20 feet.
So attics, bedrooms.
Not necessarily in attics. You would use the photoelectric and ionization mainly in the basements, at the base of the stairs in the basement, because usually you might have a finished basement down there, but not too many have of the older style homes have the new have bathrooms downstairs. So photoelectric ionization, that's considered its own separate floor. It's outside 20 feet of a kitchen or a bath. So photoelectric ionization is needed at the base of those stairs.
Okay.
You don't need them if in uninhabitable spaces, like if an attic's just used for storage. Technically, you don't need one.
Okay.
Up there. So first floor, base of the stairways. If you have two stairwells, at the base on the ceiling of each of those stairways, they're required outside of sleeping areas. So if you had a sleeping area in the first floor, they're in the hallway, outside the bedrooms in the hallway. Upstairs in the second floor, main hallways, they're outside in the main hallway.
Now, how far away from each bedroom door do these need to be?
It doesn't matter. It's on a big house. If I wouldn't like to see them more than 20 feet
Okay.
away from each other.
So carbon monoxide detectors. Let's talk a little bit about this. Certainly with these smoke detectors, there's two different types that are required by law, and there's limited areas where they can be, but certainly you wouldn't hesitate about people putting multiple ones up
No.
anywhere. I mean, I think this is a situation where too many is never enough.
Right. You can put them in your bedrooms and all
Bedrooms,
that
attics,
stuff.
basements.
Yeah.
Can people put these in garages?
The heat detectors are usually put in garages.
Okay. And carbon monoxide.
And carbon monoxide maybe outside in a mudroom or something like that outside the garage. I mean, you won't. If you got a car in there, you wouldn't want to set it off every time you start your car up.
Okay.
But a fail-safe would be having a carbon monoxide installed somewhere close to the garage in the main house, so that way, you don't leave your car running and not know about it.
Sure. So after 1975,
Yep.
hardwired.
That's where everything had to be hardwired. Just your smoke detectors, they needed to be at the base of stairways, outside separate sleeping areas, and one every 1,200 square feet. Those had to be hardwired.
Hardwired.
Yep.
Okay. And certainly if your house was built after 1975, in order to get coded, this would have already been installed.
Yes.
Okay. So just to touch base again, so photoelectric responds to combustion.
For products of combustion.
Okay.
Yep.
And ionization is flame.
Responds more to flaming fires, yes.
Okay. So now we've got a house, we've got our inspections, we've got all of our smoke detectors that we needed. So if I was getting ready to sell a house, how could I find out if I'm up to code with what I've got here?
You can always give me a call in the office. I'm glad to help out. I do it all the time.
Okay. But it's $50 in order to get the certificate in order to...
$50 to get the certificate.
Okay. Great. So now we know where our smoke detectors need to go, both photoelectric on both types. So let's talk a little bit about fire extinguishers. I always think it's important, and I think it's a great gift to give to these two people who are buying a new home. This particular kind is ABC, which means it's good for paper, liquids, and electrical fires. Do you see these in homes all the time? Should you see more of them? How many should people have in their home, and how often should you change these?
I mean, yeah, it's good to have them, obviously, especially, maybe somewhere in the kitchen that you can easily get to in case you do have a grease fire
Yep.
on top of the stove, because that's pretty much where it would start. Do I see them a lot? Maybe not as much as you should. Maybe even in the basement, but still, they should be ready, available where you think the most hazard
Sure.
is. And I think household hazards is more cooking fires than
And
anything.
it's probably like fire alarms. You can't have enough of these.
No.
If you had one on every floor,
Yeah.
it's a lot cheaper than having to have your house burned down.
Right, but and it's just to get you out quick. Get something out quick, and
Yeah.
if it gets too big for you, don't think that that's going to do it. Evacuate the house and call us. Call 911.
Sure. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I've been a customer of the Wellesley Fire Department. You guys
Yeah.
do a great job on those chimney fires.
Yeah.
So again, smoke detectors, fire extinguishers. I think these are always great to have too when you're barbecuing outside.
Yep.
That's where I've seen these
just in
used
case.
before.
Sometimes your grill, like I've had mine get away from me a couple times. It's definitely good to have.
So what is the best way, again, if somebody is preparing to sell their home, either on their own or through an agent, and even if you're selling your home on your own, you need to have this certificate of authorization from the fire department in order to close on this. So people can call you at the fire department,
Yep.
and we'll have all your information up on our Facebook page. But they can reach you directly at 781-235-1300
Yep.
and set up an appointment with you. Do you prefer them to call you or email you?
I prefer call,
Okay.
because email, when it starts to get busy, and I start emailing,
Sure.
that slot that I emailed to them is
no longer
quickly gone. So
And we're getting into that busy time now.
we're getting into it. Imagine all this snow is going to melt sooner or later.
So that you can the people can call you, set up a time, you can come out, tell them exactly what they need. Everything that you've seen today is available at Ace Hardware on Linden Street. They have well stocked with everything that you'd need to get your house up to code. Again, we have Deputy Chief Charles DiGiandomenico here from Wellesley Fire Department, and you're watching Another Home Sold. Thanks so much for coming on today.
Thank you very much for having me.
Now we're going to be going to 812 Worcester Street, which I am very proud to be offering through Coldwell-Banker. Custom built in 2005 for his own family, International Builders is proud to present this beautiful home. Craftsmanship and detail are the first things you will notice when you enter the 3-level foyer. Brazilian mahogany floors throughout, handcrafted iron woodwork stairway, stone fireplaces, a chef's kitchen, family room that leads to a deck and a sports court. The second floor hosts 4 large bedrooms, walk-in closets, and 3 baths, a laundry room, plus an 8-seat theater, a wet bar on the 3rd floor, and a fully finished game room in the basement with wine cellar, fitness area, dry sauna, and full spa bathroom. This home was designed for entertaining, and it certainly allows that. Each floor hosts its own media tower, set back from the road behind custom-designed gates with an extended driveway with parking for over 20 cars. 4,600 square feet, 1,000 square feet in the finished basement, which is not counted in square footage. You'll notice the second you drive into the circular driveway with mature trees and plantings, set back from Route 9 with an elegant entryway. You'll notice the kitchen, mahogany cherry floors, sub-zero refrigerator, Wolf range, 6-burner. This is truly a chef's kitchen. Columns between the kitchen and family room. Lots of windows and light, natural light, allowing beautiful access to the outside. Basement with tiled floors, wet bar, and playroom. Some of the best features in this property are the 8-room theater on the 3rd floor and surrounding bar area. If you're interested in seeing this property, you can certainly contact me, Steven.Verdelli at Coldwell-Banker. I hope you've enjoyed watching today's episode of Another Home Sold. Remember to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. If you're thinking about selling your home or just want an up-to-date market analysis, please contact me at 617-922-4714. I'm Steven.Verdelli with Coldwell-Banker Residential Brokerage in Wellesley. Thanks for watching. See you next week, and remember, home is the nicest word there is.